What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to KangBrosTV, the boxing section. So, put my hands up. We were wrong. Chris Eubank Jr. has proved us wrong, and I did not expect that performance, and I did not expect that outcome. I expected Degale to school him in 12 rounds, and I was far off. So I think...
Yes, you was.
First, I want to give a shout out to Anthony Scott and my boy Sonny Gill. They both predicted that Eubank will win. I mean, what they said, I guess, was kind of true. They were saying that the guy hasn't had the experience, as in like a long career, but he's had some big fights now where he can take things from. I think they were saying that people are underestimating Eubank, and if he does listen to his trainer, this is the first time he had a trainer on board, that there would be a different outcome and maybe a TKO for Chris Eubank Jr., which it should have been, really. I mean, Degale was holding on for dear life, let's be honest.
Same thing like Simon. Simon said, there's a guy that I know quite well I was speaking to throughout the fight, and he said it as well. He goes, I believe that Degale is gonna tire, and I think Eubank Jr. will come on strong later on in the fight, which actually didn't even happen because Degale did not come on at all. Do you know what I mean? Which is a bit disappointing, really, because you know, after all the big talk about, you know, retirement fight and all that sort of stuff, fair play to Eubank Jr. Like, absolutely fair play. Like,
I mean, go and give his props.
I didn't think the thing what frustrates me about him is that I believe that it was a dud. It was a dud product that was being sold. That's my biggest frustration, because against Billy Joe Saunders, I believed the hype. I jumped on the bandwagon, and then George Groves, I jumped on that hype as well. I actually thought, you know what? To be fair,
but are you on the hype now?
I'm not on the hype, because I don't believe. The thing is, if you look at the other guys in the super middleweight and the middleweight division, the top guys, I think Callum Smith beats him. Mm-hmm. I think Canelo beats him. I think Triple G beats him. And they're the ones, like, you know, Hurd and all. I think they're big. They're too big for fights for him. He's beaten. The thing is, Degale was kind of in that cross. Badou Jack would have done horrible things to Degale on that performance on Saturday. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, I think.
So I believe that the level wise, there's still a long way to go to prove that he is ready. Do you think Billy Joe Saunders would, even with time out that he's had, would struggle to beat Eubank Jr. now?
No, I think he'd beat him.
That's my thing. So that's why I'm thinking, and I'm not pissing on anyone's fire or a parade. Fair play, you've done what you wanted to do, what you had to do, and you had to win that fight. Because if you didn't,
and he had a game plan. I think that was the most that was a critical thing, and he just literally waited back from Degale every time he came with that straight left over the top. That's what baffled me, though, was the lack of creativity from Degale. I think all the Degale supporters and boxing fans thought that this guy had more in his locker, that, okay, if this plan doesn't work, because he's so slick, he's going to do something else. But it was just the same thing over and over and over again. Like, I'm no boxer, but we was literally we was literally just thinking, is that it? Is this all you've got? And it's like, it was desperate times.
I think it was even the fact that he was leading in with it. Like it wasn't like he was like throwing from a base and it was like a snappy jab. It was really languid, like falling in and getting caught every time he fell in. And again, the trainer thing. I was talking to Simon throughout the fight, and we were kind of saying, this guy, just a guy who's kind of obviously been on the boxing scene for a while, not really a proven trainer. Just we were having a joke about it, saying you just brought in a cut man from somewhere and given him the title of a trainer. But it's obvious to see that once he had a trainer, it has. I don't believe you can mislearn bad habits in this much time. But I believe that they had the performance of the opposition wasn't very good at all. And again, the Chris Eubank's performance was good. He stayed very disciplined. But the one thing I think I said to you during the fight as well, the one thing that still remains for me to be seen is when he has to be the aggressor. When he has to be the aggressor against somebody half decent, I believe he's still too slow in doing that work. But on the counter, he was very good. When he was fighting off the back foot, waiting for Degale to throw that real languid jab, he was putting him to the sword after that.
Even though Eubank was dominant in that fight, if you watch the fight, it wasn't pleasant on the eye. It was quite ugly because Degale smothered all of his work, right? I think you alluded to that in the fight as well. So someone who is at that level will smother his work. And it was just, for me, Degale lacked creativity, as I go back to again, and that's what made the outcome. And it was even just, Eubank just looked stronger. He looked fitter. He looked faster, and you could it just looked like that. You know what? Degale's time is done.
It looked like they were from 2 different weight classes. That's what, when I watched
the way he's bullying him in there.
I was talking to a couple of lads at football a little while ago, and as a centre back, the worst thing of coming off a football pitch is when you know that the centre forward has been dashing you about. Do you know when you're going up for headers and you feel like this guy's dashing? There's no worse feeling than that, right? As a defender, that is what the equivalent of that was. It looked like. It looked like he was a centre back. And Eubank Jr was a centre forward and literally just dashing him about and having just do what he wants with him. And that's where I believe Eubank Jr has packed on a bit more power and size than Degale. Degale looked a lot leaner than I've ever seen him. But when I saw that, I thought, right, well, okay, he's looking to really outwork him here, to be real slick and elusive. And he was everything but elusive in that fight. Yeah, he was smothering his work, and he said afterwards, I didn't do enough. It's because you couldn't. You could not do enough. You didn't. You obviously thought that he's so bad that I can jab his head off. That's what he thought. You can tell. I want to jab his head off. But his jab was so, like I said, languid, and you know he deservedly got beat. And I believe now that should be it. Now, like he said, this should be it.
Yeah, we were supporting Degale, and we are supporters of Degale, and he's had a fantastic career. Like he says to everybody already that he's been 2-time world champion. He's won the Olympic gold medal. Very, very rare. You called it the retirement fight. Now back up what you say, because from your performance, it was way off. And like you said, if you can't beat him, where do you go? Like why would you tune into a Degale fight now after watching that performance? Now you need to know when to stop. You called it the retirement fight, so now I don't understand why. After the end of the fight, he was like, "We'll go back to the drawing board and see what we're going to do." So
I think you have to say that.
No, why not? You say, "Look, you know what? I called it a retirement fight. I've lost, and it was not a great performance. I probably will retire now."
No,
So if he carries on, then the reason why I say that to you, because the way he said it was like he was going to continue. That's why I'm saying that to you.
Listen, I'm pretty sure in his heart of hearts, he knows that I'm going to retire. Yeah. But as soon as you say it in front of everyone, you know everyone's tuned in, then there is no coming back from that. There isn't. It's done. It's done. You know? But at the moment, I'm pretty sure in his heart of hearts is that, you know what, it is. But let me just make sure that when I sit down with everybody, let's do it properly and do it that way around. Yeah. And I'm sure someone would have told him that before he went.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I really do.
He's honest. You could tell he's been a realist. He said it before, and that's where I took my hats off to him before the fight, because I believe he's right. Because if he can't beat Chris Eubank Jr. at the moment, and Eubank Jr.'s come up against 2 world-class opponents and got beat, then it's probably time to say, you know what, there's left. Eubank can potentially go through the levels because he's a bit younger, he's fresher, and he's had those fights and he's had tough fights. And like he said, he's been abroad for a lot of his fights, so that takes up that's equivalent of 2 fights, going out and setting up base X in another location and putting your body through that extra, torrid training and the time scales and all that sort of stuff. Whereas Eubank Jr. has not had that stress, really, has he? He's not really had them grueling fights and stuff like that. So I believe that that probably means that there is still somewhere that Eubank Jr. can potentially go. It's taken his time to get there because he's wanted to do everything on his own and all that. But for Degale, I'm sorry, I wouldn't want to see him in another fight. I wouldn't want to pay. I would never pay to watch him play.
He's had a sick career as well. Just put that very clear. You know what I mean? You've had a sick career. We're not saying like, you know what, you're like had a shit career and you had a fantastic career. You've done your thing. Just like George Groves. I mean, he loved it. I mean, he
was actually quite pissed me off a little bit.
Yeah, the way he was going on, like he was literally like, you could say he was saying in a very cocky way that he was trying to say, yeah, you should try. He's had a great career, but I wasn't a big fan of that. So where does Eubank go from here then? So you just touched on there that you don't see him winning these fights, but he's saying this year is going to be where I go and collect the titles or the belts. Where does he go? I mean, I can really see him realistically fighting maybe Caleb Plant.
But even still, like Caleb Plant, fighting Plant for him, yeah, he might look at that and be like, I can beat him. I can beat him, because he's probably looking at that and thinking the rest of them are so good, I'm not beating them. There's a chance I might be able to do something with this guy, I believe. He's called out Triple G before. You know, my style's made for Triple G. No, it's not, player. It's not. It's not made for Triple G. Because Triple G would walk through your shit.
But you can see why he's saying that, right? Because he's going to be guys standing and exchanging. So, for me, Canelo's not for you. And nor is Billy Joe, which is already proven. So I don't know where he goes.
Jacobs is in the middleweights division, in that middleweight, super middleweight. You know, I know there's give or take nip and tuck between those two, but...
And the Charlo brothers, I guess, in there.
Heard, Charlo... I'd go. I'd probably look at the Charlo and Hurd and all those because they're mouthy. They're mouthy guys, and they you probably make your paydays out of those fights because you could talk shit, talk smack, and they can talk smack, and they like that kind of young money type movement. Yeah, but you go and try to talk smack against Danny Jacobs. It ain't gonna work. Billy Joe Saunders will talk smack all day. He loved that shit. But I also believe that Billy Joe Saunders beats him again. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. I know he's marketed very well, but it's just where you see the longevity in your career.
And then just to finish off here, Joe Joyce. My man looked like Gunjack. You know, like in Tekken, bro. He was just so robotic.
Do you know what? Forget Joe Joyce. Stevan. I called it during the fight. I said, you know what? There's only one person that comes to mind of what it looks like. Anybody watching this video, Google it. Moto from Madagascar. That's exactly what it looked like in that fight. I'm sorry, listen, I don't ain't shitting on nobody. If you want to box, you're a big man for getting in the ring. But you're 40 years old and you're 19 stone. Looking like a character out of Madagascar. Come on now.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
And put some respect on the names of Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Put some respect on them names. You cannot be putting Joe Joyce in that category. Please don't do that.
So where does he go? Someone like what? Dave Allen?
Price.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think
you put me against.
This is the first fight that I thought, you know what, this is an actual to see what Joe Joyce
People are
actually
getting
about.
gassed. People are getting gassed about that performance. They were like, "Oh, this is the best I've seen him." What? Imagine seeing him at the worst.
He's just too. That's the problem, right? He's just too robotic,
too rigid. Listen,
he obviously bangs.
He hits. Well, yeah, he hits. But listen. You put him up against, let me see, Daniel Dubois, for example. Yeah, I'll be interested to see him get through that fight. Yeah, if you get through that fight, fine. Chisora's of the world, gatekeeper. Go and fight the gatekeeper. Yeah. Go and fight. You put him against Dillian White. What's going to happen?
It's a wrap.
I think it's gonna be a wrap. I reckon Brazil beats him.
That'd be good. That'd be an interesting fight.
I reckon Parker will be a good fight for him because of the height difference. Hughie Fury would be a good fight for him.
That'd be a sick fight. Yeah, Fury will probably do it to him. To be fair,
Hughie Fury would be a good fight for him. I believe. But then you could Povetkin. I reckon he'll struggle to get Povetkin out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These fights now he needs to take because we know him against anybody.
The guy that fought Wilder and troubled him, Ortiz. Fight Ortiz. You get through those fights, then you can start talking about the level of fighters at those three. But you got to put some respect on them mate's names. Don't be just banding them around willy nilly as if you've done some mad shit. Get out of it.
So anyway, let's wrap this video up. Let us know your opinion on the Eubank fight and Degale, should he retire? And what about Joe Joyce? What is his future hold? Do you think that he is ready to mix it with the very best? So until, I guess we'll probably do a video on maybe Joshua Miller and Crawford Khan. So until then, don't forget to share, like, subscribe and comment. Peace.